What's up, y'all? Dave, Allred, the Real Barman from barpatrol.net. I'm going to talk to you today about the 5 biggest reasons I see that bars fail. I also have a video called the number 1 reason bars fail. You want to go check that out. I see it on a daily basis in my business. I'm super passionate about that. I think I touch on it on number 3 in this video, but I wanted to expand a little bit for more things you to focus on. Sorry to be negative and call it the reasons bars fail, but 85% of bars are failing. You can turn it around and use these 5 things to make your bar succeed. You want to make sure to listen to number 5, because without number 5, you can't do the rest of them. It won't work. So go check it out. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more cool stuff. Let's head to the computer. We're going to go over the 5 biggest reasons that bars fail. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about the 5 biggest reasons that bars and restaurants fail outside of financial backing. You know, this doesn't include financial backing. This is actually the number 1 reason that bars or other businesses fail, but we're going bar and restaurant specific. But if you don't have financial backing when you first open a restaurant and you have some rough times in the beginning and you're just expecting the profits to come, your business is going to fold. So I'm not including that here. That is actually the number 1 reason, but we're going to go specific to the bar and restaurant industry. So the number 1 reason, kind of cliche, but location. It's cliche in real estate. It's the same thing for the bar and restaurant industry. This picture is an exaggeration, obviously, but if you're not in a good location, you're in trouble. And you can't just have a good concept, and you can't just have a busy location. Right? And what I mean by that is a good concept in a bad location that doesn't bring in traffic is completely pointless. You can have the greatest concept in the world, but if it's located somewhere where no one goes, what's the point? And then a busy location might have rent that's too high and it's skyrocketing your occupancy percentage. So that's something you need to look into financially. And for more on occupancy percentage and other cost percentage standards, you can watch my video. It's called What Should Your Bar and Restaurant Cost Percentages Be? And it goes over all of the industry standards. And just so you know, your occupancy should not exceed 10% of your total sales. That's kind of a general standard. So that's number 1, location. Number 2, there's no systems in place. And anyone who knows me knows I'm huge on putting systems in place. There's a lot of owners who just work for hours and hours and have no systems. And if you haven't read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, this is the guy that kind of pioneered this whole idea of putting systems in place. He didn't pioneer systems, but he kind of analyzed it and wrote a book on it, and it really puts a clear picture and gives you a vision of what he's talking about. And he uses McDonald's as a big model. And the philosophy states that the business is not dependent on the owner, meaning the owner doesn't have to be there 60 or 70 hours. This could be the GM too. This could be a manager's role. And they feel like they have to do everything and manage every single person all the time. The philosophy here is the owner manages the system, not the employees. So you put systems in place, they just run on their own. And McDonald's, it's the same thing. A lot of these other franchises, you put in systems and then you just hire, a decent manager and employees. You don't need a rock star and pay them a ton of money. The system runs itself. You just plug them in. And the systems are set up so precise that anyone can do it. All right, without systems in place, employees and managers will do whatever they want, which is usually selfishly motivated. And this, you might see this in your place. You might be like, yeah, everyone just does what they want. There's no systems. Their actions and behaviors left unmonitored will eventually destroy the business. You can't just let people do whatever they want or things are going to fall apart. Systems allow you to focus on the business instead of spending all of your time doing menial tasks and putting out fires. So some examples of businesses, some systems are, opening and closing sidewalks. That's kind of a common one, but it's a system, right? You don't have to go every night and ask, the employees if they did their side work because they have sheets. They fill it out, they check it, they get it signed by a manager, and they just do it automatically because the system's in place. Daily booking and accounting, regular inventory count so you can track what's going on. And then customer service rules, not just go out there and give some great service. You can't just tell them that. You have to give them rules. Greet guests within 60 seconds when they walk in the door. Greet them at the table. Make sure there's refills. Follow up after the food arrives. All these rules that they need to follow, so it's a system in place. So number 2 is system. And speaking of customer service, number 3 is poor customer service is the number 3 reason that bars and restaurants fail. And everyone hears about customer service. Oh, yeah, it's important, but you need to stay on top of this or you are done. It's cliche, but it's for a reason. Don't stop marketing, but shift your ratio of time you spend on marketing and promoting your business to spending more time focusing on giving guests who are already in your bar and restaurant a premium experience they'll never forget. That's the most important thing you do. If your attention is elsewhere and you're not focusing on them, they're not coming back. So the truth is, if you spend 100% of your time ensuring that your guests all had absolutely fantastic experience every time they came in, you'd be so busy that you wouldn't even have time to focus on marketing and you wouldn't even need it. It costs $40 to $70 to acquire a new customer in our industry. And repeated business and word of mouth marketing costs you almost nothing. It is super valuable. That's where you should be spending most of your time. This means that your staff must be well trained by following the systems you put into place to ensure maximum experience for every single guest every single time. This is so important. All right, Cornell University did a study. I have this generally correct. I don't have this word for word, but this is the general oversight of it. 40% of the guests' overall rating, the guests that they brought in like 1,000 people and studied them and had them do a survey after. Their overall rating of the service they received was based on three things: how quickly they were greeted, whether their drinks were refilled, and how quickly they received the bill. All right, this is like 2 minutes of their 90-minute experience accounted for 40% of their overall rating. They can't stand it. The time is a big thing. They come there to be treated like kings. They've been working all day. They want an experience. And when you ignore them at the door or you're texting when their iced tea's not filled, it pisses them off. And then they're going to go on Yelp, and we know how that goes. People love to bitch and rant and rave on Yelp. So, attention to detail and making sure they're taken care of is extremely important. The food and drinks are important, but they're secondary when it comes to gaining repeat business. How you make the person feel and the experience you provide is more important than the product you're serving. And that doesn't just mean your hosts and your servers and your bartenders while you sit in the office and do nothing. You, the manager or owner, need to get out there and speak with every table that comes in. All right, you're the star of the show, and they feel very important. When you walk up and say, "Hey, I'm the manager. How you doing? How is everything?" Or if you say, "I'm the owner," they're like, "Wow, that's great. He took time to come over," because it doesn't happen that often. So it's rare, and when you get it, they feel important. And I call this the law of big personality. I wrote about this in my book, and it is a powerful law in the customer service industry. You walking through and being the personality in the face of the business. Very important. All right, let's go on to number 4. There's no measuring, monitoring, or following up. And these systems are extremely important, that you measure the numbers and the data, what's going on, so you can see what's going on in your business. These numbers tell a story. And 85% of businesses I come across in bars and restaurants are not doing this. If you don't measure it, you can't monitor it. And if you can't monitor it, you can't tell where things are going wrong. And if you can't tell where things are going wrong, you can't improve it. And if you can't improve it, what the hell are you doing in this business anyway? You should just go work at Walmart or something like that. The famous management expert, Edward Deming, he helped improve and save Ford Motor Company. He says, "In God we trust, all others must bring data." And this is so true if you're going to be successful in business. Monitoring the inventory, the quality of food and the drinks going out, and the quality of service each guest is receiving is the only way to survive and thrive. Without putting measuring and monitoring systems in place, you might as well close your doors right now, because the only way to ensure your imminent failure is to blindly hope that everything behind the curtain is okay. You need these numbers, you need inventory, you need to track all of your data and then analyze it to see what's going on so you can improve and grow. It's the only way to make it. And then the last one, I moved this up here. This one's so important. Poor execution. And this is in general in life. People have a horrible time executing their plans and goals, and it really comes across in the restaurant industry. I'll go do some consulting for bars and restaurants, and I'll tell them exactly what they need to do, and they end up just not executing any of the plan. I give them the plan, they just don't do it. You see it in Bar Rescue all the time. John Taffer comes in, says you need to do this, 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 change the name to this, da-da-da. As soon as he leaves, there'll be that little message at the end of the show saying they changed back and they failed. So no one's executing the plan that's coming back. So why don't people execute? Well, because execution requires people to change their habits and their behavior. And why do you think so many New Year's resolutions are broken inside the first 3 weeks? This is so common, right? Everyone, they have an idea of what they want. They create a plan to achieve their goals, which requires them to change their current behavior and create new habits they were not practicing before. And over and over again, they break their rules. This takes more effort than most common people plan for. That's the thing, is they know it's going to take some effort, but they don't plan for how much effort. And it's mainly because your bar and restaurant is teeming with so many tasks and priorities that to execute your plan takes a pinpoint focus and systems and an effort to change that most people don't possess. Which is why implementing systems written down, not just up in your head, is so important to the success of your business. And I keep repeating systems, but if you're going to execute, you need the systems written down. The key to everyone executing their assigned tasks, managers and employees alike, is creating the systems and then a culture of accountability where the team is accountable to each other and not just the owner or manager. They need to be a team. Employees will work hard to avoid getting in trouble and gaining approval from the manager, but they will work twice as hard to avoid disappointing their team. So it's so important that you get everyone on board, you get everyone's feedback, you make them feel important, that you're all there for the same reason. You're not just barking down orders at them. You want to make it a team effort and everyone will work harder for each other. So there's an overview of the 5 biggest reasons that bar and restaurants fail from my perspective and all the bars and restaurants I've worked with. Take care of those first 5 in priority, and then you can take care of the smaller issues after. I am Dave Allred, the Real Barman, and visit barpatrol.net if you want to have more cool articles. Check out the inventory system. I will see you next time. I'm out.